Welcome to a presentation that will explain the work being undertaken in East Coast climate change scenario planning. This is an exciting collaborative initiative between a number of different organizations, and a core team has been established to coordinate this work over the next 12 to 18 months. The members of the core team are displayed below. In this video and ones to follow, we'll be doing four things. The first is to explain a little about why, to introduce this work and to introduce why we feel it is important to explore climate change and the future of East Coast fisheries. Secondly, we'll be introducing the process and methodology that will guide most of our work. This is an introduction to scenario planning. Thirdly, we'll be providing more details of the initiative in terms of its project objectives, the focus that we'll be going through, and the expected outcomes. And then finally, we'll talk about how to get involved, and specifically about the process and participant engagement. Firstly, let's talk about why this is an important initiative and why we're undertaking this work. So climate change is a growing threat to marine fisheries worldwide, and we're starting to see the impacts on many aspects of fisheries on the East Coast. Rising ocean temperatures and other changes are affecting stock distribution, abundance, and productivity of many important species. So we're already in an era of climate change, and we know that in the future, we're going to face different conditions compared to the past and to the present. However, we don't really fully understand the changes that might happen, and certainly the consequences and impacts of those changes. What does seem clear is that we'll probably need to do things very differently in future compared to what we're doing right now in order to cope with new, surprising, uncertain conditions. From a fishery management point of view, we think that climate change is going to force us to think differently, for example, about jurisdictional and governance issues. How are we going to collaborate between our different organizations in a world where species might move outside, let's say, traditional or expected boundaries? In addition, what does an era of climate change mean for fishermen and other ocean users? Stock distributions might change, we may get more marine heat waves, coastal storms might become more intense, there might be more activity on the ocean. What does this mean for how we fish, what vessels we have, what gear we need? What is it going to mean for the infrastructure that is going to be in our ports or the overall prosperity of our communities? So it's important that we think about the next couple of decades in which climate change is going to affect the ocean, it's going to affect stocks, it's going to affect our communities. And it's important not only that we think about this, that we take action soon to prepare for the challenges and opportunities ahead. To help us address this daunting challenge, we're going to be using a technique known as scenario planning. It's not a conventional management strategy process that many of us are familiar with. Instead, think about it as a complement to that. In the next few slides, we're going to explain some of the basics of scenario planning as an approach.